Okay, y'all know the drill. Where you from? Where you at? What are you doing? We're gonna try this again. I tried to discuss last night's PFL episode thing last night, but it turned into a melee, turned into a bit of a circus. Too many people talking over each other, and one belligerent individual who couldn't make a salient point to save his life because I listened to it back. I tried to go through it, and it's undiscernible what point the guy was trying to make, because on one end he's saying that there's no money in women's boxing, but then he expects Clarissa to get more money. So then which one is it? If there's no money in it, then why? You can't make sense out of stuff like that. And you know, I maintain my original assertion because that was my assertion. That was my immediate reaction to the fight. That it's not the end of the world that she loses a MMA match, because everyone knows that she's a novice MMA fighter. She doesn't have a lot of experience. I've always maintained I feel that she got into it for the wrong reasons. Doing something for money and money alone, as opposed to passion, puts a cap on how well you can do it. It puts a cap on how far you're going to go. It always does, because money, for example, if you draw, if you sing, if you have any kind of a creative outlet, one thing that's always been a thing for me is I draw, like, or at least I used to draw a lot because I wanted to, because there was something that I got out of it. But the second somebody asks me to draw something, well, I don't want to, because you're involved. Like now it's a job, and I don't feel like doing that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards when it comes to this. That if you're doing this for money as opposed to a passion to explore it and develop it and get great at it, it's very different than learning something for the sake of money. Those are two very different mindsets. You feel different doing it. What's goody, Redder Dead? What's goody, Joe Mama? What's goody to get that guy? You know what I mean? It's very different depending on what your motivation is for doing things. And money alone, what's goody, Joe Lazizi? Money alone is not a reason, at least not to me, not just money, to have crossed over. I never wanted her to cross over into mixed martial arts. I've always maintained that you're gonna lose. And because of how you are, your character, people aren't going to let you live it down. It's not losing the fight that's going to be the hard part. It's dealing with the loss and dealing with people, because there's a lot of people that want you to lose. There's a lot of merciless trolls out there that don't have a conscience and have no character, that hide behind ghost accounts just so that they could say very mean and vile things to people online. There are people that do this every day. They make alt accounts and ghost accounts with Google stock images as decal so that they could run around on social media saying awful things to people. And you'd like to think that those things don't bother an athlete, a competitor, but they do, because we're all human. And these are the people that are going to take time out of their day to take the piss out of this woman any chance they get. And they're only doing it because you set yourself up for it. Why is Eddie not saying anything about the Triple G fight on the zone? Seems they split. Well, I don't know if Triple G is still with Matchroom or if he struck a separate deal with the zone where he's dealing with them directly. What we do know is his original contract was amended, and the first fight under that amended contract is the Murata fight. In all likelihood, those of us here in the United States that want to see Triple G versus Murata, we're going to see it on the zone. But as far as Eddie and Matchroom still being in the picture, I'm not even sure that they are, because if you're fighting in Japan, I don't think that's a Matchroom show. I think it's Ryota Murata's promoters that are going to be handling the promotion for that fight. I don't imagine that that's a Matchroom show. I don't even know if Matchroom is going to be involved in any capacity. That's something that we'll find out when they make the official announcement. I believe they said they want to make an official announcement next week in reference to that fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Matchroom isn't involved. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Gennady is dealing with the zone directly and not through Matchroom. Hey, what's goody, Tim? And yeah, man, like I said, I don't think that losing that fight should be the end of the world. But I equate it to the wildest situation in the sense that you made it harder on yourself with how you behave. It's how you behave that makes it difficult. and it's how you behave that is going to result in people reacting the way that they react. When you go out of your way to say that you'd beat up a Keith Thurman, that you'd beat up a Triple G, and you'd beat up a Jake Paul, people are going to laugh at you when you get beat up by another girl. That's just reality, and that's just the world. That's like it or love it, it's going to be that way. When you go out of your way to do these things, people are going to shit on you. So, the same thing I said last night. Be careful who you treat on your way up. What money? What are you talking about? Who is this guy? El Jefe. I don't know who this person is. Be careful how you treat people on your way up, because those are the people that you're gonna pass on the way down. And the first person to start trolling was Jake Paul, though you could question whether or not he's even trolling when it was Clarissa that went out of her way to mention this guy. I seen the whole shit when it started, and that dude was never talking about her. That dude wasn't taking shots at her. You've been taking shots at that dude since early this year because he knocked out Nate Robinson. What business is that of yours with a basketball player and a YouTuber doing a boxing ring? He's as much a boxer as Nate. That's what they're going to say Brown going won. That's how they're going to market her. They're going to use that victory over Clarissa Shields to catapult her career, and that's going to be her platform. What she goes on to do after that, I don't know. But if she goes on and loses, well, it's going to reflect even poorer on Shields, because they're going to say, well, you got beat up by a girl that ain't even that good. So it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in depending on the size of your ego. It's a tough spot to be in depending on your own headspace as a competitor. You know what I mean? That you got beat, and your whole thing is how people can't beat you. Rick Ramos seems to think Jordan, Serrano's manager, typed the message. Maybe he did. I don't get the sense that that was typed by Jake Paul either. If you read through it, it sounds like it was written by someone else. This LDBC, this is the kind of person I'm talking about. This guy right here, right? To this person, it's early in the morning, and you're dedicating all this time to behave like a social fucking reject online because you don't get attention in real life. You're blocked. Nobody wants to hear shit you have to say. Nobody wants to see you in real life, and nobody wants to see you online. Walk into traffic. She just lost a couple 5 in Marshall negotiations. Possibly. I anticipated that even the Marshall fight would have problems, to be honest with you. I anticipated that even though that they're on the same platform and they're under the same promotional banner, there are likely going to be issues with the splits and what the fighters stand to make, because Clarissa's going to want the lion's share of the pot. And I felt like there were going to be problems there, that the problems might arise, because it's not like they signed contracts to fight each other yet. They haven't. They're about 2 fights away from what is supposed to be their fight. They're 2 fights away from that. Appreciate that, Jambo. And yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff that doesn't have to be as difficult as it seems, depending on how you handle it. But when you behave like a petulant child and you think that you're entitled, this is what happens. That's what happens. Now, I don't know how she's gonna deal with it, because to me personally, she didn't look half bad until Gabby got her on the ground. When Gabby got her on the ground, that's when you saw that she's a little bit out of place. But the rest of the time, she looked all right. When she was walking it down and Gabby circling away back on the cage, Clarissa didn't look that bad. It was only when Gabby got her on the ground. I don't know how much effort has gone into Clarissa's ground game, but I feel like the focus of everything she was doing as a boxer crossing over into mixed martial arts should have been related to what happens on the ground, because everybody that climbs in that cage with her is going to be trying to get her on the ground. They're not going to want to strike with her. They may not even want to kick with her. They're going to try to get her on the ground. I don't know how much focus in her camps and her drills and her sessions, I don't know how much focus went into preparing yourself for what happens on the ground. I saw Melissa Odessa react to the fight. Shout out to Melissa Odessa, who I love. She said that homegirl couldn't get off the ground. She's talking about Serrano, and Serrano is another boxer who decided to cross over into MMA. And I'm like, I don't think that these boxers crossing over into MMA need to worry about striking too much. Perhaps working on kicks is something they need to explore. But it really is the ground game that they have to focus on, because every MMA fighter that walks into that octagon with them, their focus is going to be getting them on the ground. They're waiting for you to throw a hook they can get under to get you down on the ground and ground and pound you. That's what they're all going to do. That's what Randy Couture did to a very old and fat James Toney. That's what happened last night to Clarissa Shields. Clarissa threw a right hook. She missed by a mile. Gabby got under it and took her down. And the rest is history. Exactly, Slot Encounter. Appreciate that, Theo. I was just thinking about this the other day. Caleb Plant hasn't fought the whole year. He's going to be rusty when he fights Canelo. Could be a short night on fight night. I believe he fought Caleb Truax this year. I believe that was this year, earlier this year. I don't think that matters, to be completely honest with you, Caleb's activity, because Caleb, I've watched Caleb for years, bro. He cuts easy. He gasses out towards the end of a fight. I don't see it going the distance, whether he had a fight this year or not. Though I believe he did have a fight, and that was against Caleb Truax, and he didn't look good in that fight. Ground game, footwork, positioning. I agree, Tim. I believe that any boxer that is crossing over into mixed martial arts, the focus of their efforts really has to be on feeling comfortable on the ground, not panicking, because it's easy to panic when somebody's put you there and they're on top of you and they're trying to throw punches at you. You likely panic in those situations. And I think that the focus of any boxer's efforts that wants to cross over into mixed martial arts, the focus should be jiu-jitsu and ground game, judo, all that shit, because that's where they want to get you. Everybody you walk in there with, they're going to try to get you on the ground. And when that happens, because it's going to, you need to be comfortable, poised, and controlled to get back on your feet. And it's easier said than done, like everything else. Doesn't have to be the end of the world that she got beat, but it's her ego that could make it difficult. It's her own ego that could make that very difficult. And dealing with trolls, because you're talking about an athlete that actually took time out of their day to regularly argue with people online about things they were saying, when that should roll off the shoulder. If you find yourself arguing with every Joe Blow, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has something to say about you, you're never going to stop arguing. That is a battle you're never going to win. She's not going on Twitter for days now, maybe weeks. Shout out to Fistiana. Jujutsu, yeah, exactly, Tim. Jujutsu wrestling background helps, because if these mixed martial artists know, they don't want to punch with the boxer. They don't want to get, they don't want to stand up and use their hands. That's not their forte. They're gonna want to get that boxer on the ground to take away those hands. If they're a kickboxer, they're gonna want to get him on the ground to take away those feet. So I mean, that's where the focus of all the effort needs to go. Shout out to Sophia, who I love, all the way in the West Coast. D Hodges, what up, Ring IQ in chat? I was goody Hodges, was goody Robin Rickson. Nope, but I did watch Mortal Kombat 1. She's not, yeah, I mean, to Battle's thing, Battle was beating the drum for Mortal Kombat yesterday, the first one. And like I said, I grew up in that era. I played the game before there was a movie. And when there was a movie, nobody I knew was tripping over it. The only thing we were tripping over was the trailer and the techno music. Other than that, the movie sucked. I thought it sucked. My sisters thought it sucked. My neighbors thought it sucked. My classmates thought it sucked. My buddies outside, they thought it sucked. We all thought it sucked. And that was then, at the height of its popularity. So I don't know. Maybe he looks at it with a sort of nostalgia, because he must have really liked it when he saw it. But I know that when it came out, a lot of us thought it sucked. I was goody Sergio. I did too, Ring. I'm 42, but that one slipped through the net. Hold on, let me see. I'm a last. Yo, thank you, Robin. When I watched The Last Dragon, right, I could wholeheartedly say I enjoyed that movie from start to finish. The fight scene, everything, every vanity. When you got that glow, you feel it, so don't let go. Oh, power will always. Bro, I love that whole. I showed my daughter that movie. My daughter has a thing for old movies and old TV shows. She loves that movie. Clive Davis did the soundtrack. If y'all wondering why is the soundtrack to that movie so good, it's because Clive Davis did the damn soundtrack. On the power of elevation. That was my shit, man. Like when he get the power, when you think he dead, he catch the bullet with his teeth. Yo, we all got hype off of that. When he caught it with his teeth, and the music came on when the music came, bro, we was wilding off of that. Nobody was wilding like that off of Mortal Kombat. I could tell you that shit. Nobody was bugging out off of Mortal Kombat. Power, Leroy. I saw that movie in theaters, and you think you old. Listen, I know you older than me, Russ, but you have to admit I have a beautiful singing voice. That much cannot be denied. I was toting my pack along the dusty Winnemucca road when along came a semi with a high and canvas covered load. He asked me if you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, you can ride. And so I stepped into the cab and then I sat along inside. He asked me if I've seen a road with so much dust and sand. And listen, I've been on every road on this here. Oh, that's my song. Oh, Cash. Johnny motherfucking Cash. Motherfuckers don't know nothing about no Johnny Cash, man. You listen to that shit, you can't not sing along, bro. You can't not sing along. I love that song. That of an angel. Exactly, Sergio. Like, I sound amazing, dog. I sound incredible. I don't got no Michael McDonald. His pitch and his voice is so unique. I don't even try, bro. He's like Peter Cetera. It's very hard to imitate Peter. And I can't do his voice, man. Like his voice is man unique. Come on, Russ. Don't be. I sound amazing, bro. I sound incredible. My singing voice is incredible. Like it's like angels singing while taking a shit. Um, but yeah, I mean, I hope that she'll be okay because as easy as it is to take the piss out of someone, as easy as that is, I want her to be in the right headspace for the Savannah Marshall fight. I want the best version of Clarissa Shields that can go into that fight. I would hate to think that this compromises her confidence as a boxer, having lost as a mixed martial artist. I want the best version of both fighters. I want the best version of Savannah. I want the best version of Clarissa. And because of her ego, that's the kind of stuff that'll sit with you and fester, especially when you have so many people piling on trying to beat you down and trying to, basically beat your spirit into submission. You got your fucking ass beat. You supposed to be the GWOAT. You not no GWOAT. And I've always maintained that GWOAT shit is, I file that under TBE. I don't believe in that shit. Anybody can be beaten. Anybody can be beaten. Everybody on a long enough timeline. Everybody on a long enough timeline. If they stick around too long, yeah, they're gonna fucking lose. It's just the way it is. That's combat sports, not exclusive to boxing, not exclusive to mixed martial arts. People tell me your voice is a combination of Jesus, Fergie. It is. It's a combination of Jesus, Fergie, Colin Hay, and Phil Collins. This is the world we live in. Oh, that's my shit. I love Phil Collins, man. Is that Phil Collins? Yeah, that's Crazy World. That's Mad World. That's Phil Collins. Calling herself GWOAT was pure hubris. Agreed. You believe that because you won a lot of alphabet titles in a very opportunistic way, that makes you the most excellent fighter of the excellent fighters. And that in and of itself is folly. It's farce because your division is nowhere near as deep as divisions below yours. There are a grand total of maybe 30, the max, girls where you fight. You've got all these other girls. They've got to go through a lot more to get a belt than you do. Clarissa went to 154, and in 2 fights, she was an undisputed champion because all of the belts were vacant. The WBA, I should say, the WBA screwed over Hannah Gabriels and demoted her to a regular champion while she was still holding a world title. The WBC and the WBO were more than happy to put a vacant title in Clarissa Shields' lap. The only champion that really was a champion at that time that was fighting was Marie-Eve Dicaire, because Hannah Gabriels had hurt her arm. She couldn't fight. And you can't win four titles in two fights at 130. That's not how Katie won her belt. She had to have four fights with four champions to win her belts. At 126, if you were up and coming and you won a belt, you got to fight three girls. You got to fight Amanda Serrano, Erica Cruz. You got to fight three girls: Amanda Serrano, Erica Cruz, or Sarah Mahfoud. At 122, you got to fight three girls. At 118, you got to fight four girls. And it can't happen. So when you label yourself the greatest of all time, what? The greatest at picking up titles nobody was holding? Theo, I appreciate that. When do you see Caleb Plant getting KO'd? I think it happens in the championship rounds, or he just gets beat up throughout the fight. I want to say this, Theo, because Canelo Alvarez is more of a pressure fighter now, that he stalks his opponent, comes up in a high guard, and plays catch and shoot a lot. I think that Caleb maybe gets stopped in the 7th or the 8th, because it's going to be a faster pace than he's used to, and he's going to have to work a lot more than he's used to. He's not used to somebody being able to keep up with him, keep on him, counter in kind with more hand speed and more power than he's used to. If you look at the press conference, it's the perfect microcosm for what we're about to see. You tried for a shot that got rolled, and then quick counter, you got a cut on your face. Quick counter, real quick. He didn't even really, he slapped you, bro. He slapped you and you got a cut on your face. That is the microcosm for the fight for me, because if you've been watching Canelo's fights, the Kovalev fight, the Saunders fight, the Smith fight, he comes forward in a high guard, stalks the guy, plays catch and shoot, stays off the line, counters in kind, and he's going to do that to Caleb. And Caleb, I believe, will have success in probably rounds 1 through 3. He's going to have success, but it'll start catching up, I think, at around 5 and 6. And those are the rounds where he probably will start getting hit with clean shots, because the pace is going to catch up to him. He's going to slow down. His defense is going to suffer for it, and he's going to get hit clean for it. What I don't see happening, and it's Canelo, so I'm sure he'll eat those words, is Canelo setting up a trap on him like he does? I don't believe Canelo even has to set up a trap, because if he pushes the pace, it'll be more than Caleb is accustomed to, and he will tire that much faster. If you've been watching Caleb towards the end of the fight, the championship rounds, 10, 11, 12, he slows down, he tires, his defense suffers for it. And I believe that'll happen even faster with Canelo Alvarez. The difference is you don't fight a lot of guys like Canelo Alvarez. You haven't had those step-up fights to prepare you for what he brings. You haven't. This is a guy who won 24 rounds with Gennady Golovkin and didn't get knocked out once. Not knocked down once. He didn't get knocked down once. He's been in there with Daniel Jacobs. He's been in there with Erislandy Lara. He's been in there with bigger guys than you, like Callum Smith and Rocky Fielding. He's been in there with trickier guys than you and Billy Joe Saunders, because now the narrative seems to be that somehow Caleb is a better boxer than Billy Joe Saunders, and I don't know what that's based on. Caleb don't have a better amateur career than Billy, and he don't have a better professional career than Billy. Billy was a 2-division champion. I don't think Caleb could do that. I don't think you could become a champion at 2 weights, because that would require you to go up to light heavyweight. And you can't cut it with those guys. Better Beaver eat you alive. Beaver would outbox you. Not on topic, but if Vosdik followed Usyk and Loma in the southpaw stance, do you think he would have had better and more powerful jab than Kovalev? Possibly, because that's the virtue of using your dominant hand as your jab hand. You know, Miguel Cotto did that. Miguel Cotto was not really a lefty. He was a righty who fought out of the southpaw stance. He led with what is normally his backhand, but it gave him a very good jab, a great jab. So if Vosdik did that because he has such a quality right hand, you might see a piston-like jab that causes a lot of damage very quickly, because that's the trade-off. The logic is that if most of the punches you throw are with the jab, if most of your punches are jabs, then using your backhand will help you create more damage with the jab, because that's your dominant hand. That's the logic I've heard in reference to why sometimes right-handed fighters lead with their right hand and fight out of a southpaw stance, because they know most of the time they're going to be jabbing. So if you can actually connect with most of those jabs, you'll cause a lot of damage very quickly. Shout out to James Jackson. Plant took it as an insult being compared to Billy. And I don't know why, because Caleb Plant doesn't have a fucking resume. I want to shout out Jaime Nieto. If you're not here or if you watch this back, I appreciate your super chats, bro. I didn't get to see them and read all of them yesterday because, as you remember, it was a fucking circus in here. But your super chats and your patronage is very much appreciated. I'll try to control the environment a little bit more so that I don't get lost in the conversations, because there was a lot going on. There were a lot of people trying to talk at the same time. And then you had that belligerent guy who couldn't make a salient point to make his life. If you're saying that there's not a lot of money in women's boxing, then why are you expecting Shields to get a lot of money? You can't have it both ways. You're saying there's not a lot of money in it, right? But she was still being given more money than 90% of the girls that are out there. So you're already getting the kind of treatment that you want. It's just that you want more. You feel entitled, and you're not drumming up the kind of business it takes to get more. It's a very simple situation, and I believe it was Shelton. Shout out to Shelton, who I want to have back on the channel because he makes a lot of salient points. It's simple. All these networks and all these promoters and all these people, they want to make money, and what makes dollars makes sense. What doesn't make dollars doesn't make sense. If you were a ticket seller and a ratings getter, Showtime would have not only renewed your contract, they would have given you an even better deal, because you would have given them incentive to stay in the Clarissa Shields business. But when your views are on a downward trend, when you go from, I believe it was 400,000 or close to it, to just a little under 300,000 views, and you're making financial demands, you want all this money, well, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. It's cause and effect. Plant is in the wrong weight class. I agree. A part of me feels like if he really applied himself, he could make middleweight, and perhaps he would have more respectable power there because he's a decent sized super middleweight. So that would make him a big middleweight. But he's at 68. He's been at 68 as long as I can remember, and he has not exhibited world-class punching power. I've watched his fights for years. You can go back to the videos that I did when I first started uploading videos. I've been watching Plant for years. We can learn even from the belligerent guy. I learned there are some messed up people out there. Yeah, because being emotional and if the basis of your arguments are your emotions, you're gonna lose already, because the world don't care about what you think and they don't care about you. I'm sorry to say that, but the same is true for me. If I formulated those kinds of arguments, well, the world wouldn't care. A lot of people wouldn't care. More people wouldn't care than would. That's the world. You keep expecting people to give a shit about your personal shit and your baggage and your preferences and nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. You don't understand that? You're lucky if you can get 10,000 people to care. You're lucky. Theo asks, I saw Rolly hit the pads on Fight Hub. He has no footwork and he loads up on power punches. Tank could easily slip and counter him all day. I agree that Tank is a better boxer, or at least I've seen better boxing from Tank than I've seen from Rolly, who often loses form. But what to Ronnie Boy Fresh, shout out to Ronnie Boy Fresh, Newton's finest. He brought up a point that was very convincing for me, that Gervonta Davis has been getting hit more and more fight by fight. He got touched up in the Leo Santa Cruz fight, even though Leo is not a very big puncher. He got touched up in the Barrios fight. He was getting touched up before he stopped him. And you have to imagine that if Rolly is a bigger puncher than those guys, just hypothetically speaking, if what Rolly has is power, how will Gervonta Davis react to that power? Because Rolly's not coming to box. Rolly is not coming in here to fence with you with his jab and set up a shot. Rolly's going to go in there and throw power shots. You're going to go in there and throw power shots. If you guys are trading at the same time, the both of you might get hit. The feeling is that Davis, he might not take the shot well. It's not intriguing enough for me to buy the pay-per-view, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if Ronnie ends up being right, that, you know what, he finally went in there against somebody that has halfway decent power, and maybe he gets taken out, because that's the theory that Ronnie gave me. They're like, yo, this dude don't box. That dude is going to go in there and throw bolo punches and wild-ass punches, and if one get through, Davis might get slept. That's what he told me. And I'm like, yo, you know what? That's not far-fetched. That could happen because he is getting hit a lot more. I saw Rolly versus Marinez tank in under 8. Rolly's not interested in combos. Nah, he gonna throw some old book bag punches. Man. Julius, you still did Wilder bad yesterday. Can't stop laughing when you mentioned, like I said, Wilder's career is the equivalent of Lost, all right? It's grifting as far as being a writer and writing goes, because you have one trick, one niche, nothing else, and you're relying on that to keep the audience. With Wilder, it's similar because, well, you have one punch, and the rest of the story, like the rest of the opponents, or the rest of the opponents, like the rest of the Lost story, it's not very good, but you've got that one trick. That's all you got, that one trick, and that's how you hope to captivate an audience and continue to excel. And Tyson Fury, the first good boxer that you fought, the first good boxer that you were in there with, he exposed you at a time when he was supposed to be a cherry. Amok says Plant was right about Canelo and Valdez in the conference, but that will inspire Saul to give Caleb a beating of a lifetime in that ring. And I agree. A lot of people, when they saw the stuff that Caleb was saying, I saw some people, not even a lot, I take that back. I saw people saying things like he's trying to get in Canelo Alvarez's head, and that really only works to throw a cerebral fighter off his game, a thinking man's fighter like a Klitschko or a Loma. Canelo is not a thinking man's fighter. He's a pressure fighter these days more than anything else. And if you make him mad, he's only going to apply more pressure. It's that pressure that I think is going to get to Caleb. So you're just making it worse on yourself. Canelo's not coming in here to fence with you and fence jabs and pick the moments. No, he's coming in here to come forward in that high guard, catch and shoot, slip and hook, work the body, and he's going to stay with you. He's going to stay on top of you. You don't got better legs than Lara. You don't have, Caleb don't have better legs than Lara. He don't have better legs than Trout. And you wilding. No, he don't. He's been in there with the Laras of the world, the Trouts of the world, the Jacobs of the world, Gennady Golovkin 2 times, a very big fighter in Callum Smith, who he walked down, a very tricky fighter in Billy Joe Saunders, who he created opportunities against, all right? He knows the shots to throw and when to throw them. And if you think that Mike Lee and Vincent Fagan boots are any preparation for what you're about to deal with, you're crazy. You're crazy. Plant gonna need, Plant might as well wear a bulletproof vest to the fight. You might as well. Because when those body shots land, and I think that Canelo's gonna go to his body to take away his legs, right? Head's too hard to hit, target the torso. It's a bigger mass. It's the same as when you go to a shooting range. Fuck the headshots, just shoot for the torso. I feel Caleb Plant is way easier to time. I feel that way too, Sergio, because Billy is a southpaw. Billy's moving to his right. Billy is moving to the outside of Canelo's left. Everything is in reverse. So that creates a harder guy to hit because he's moving on the outside of your setup punch. But Canelo was still able to land power shots, right? So if he's still able to land power shots on a tricky southpaw who's fidgety, herky-jerky, likes to feint, moves to his right, if he's doing this to a southpaw who fights on the fly, doing that same thing to an orthodox fighter, is easier. I was goody, Daniel. Plant thinks the asbestos he inhaled from his trailer will serve as pat. Yeah, man, like all that I grew up poor shit is wild corny, man. You and most of boxing grew up poor. The guys in Argentina, the guys in Mexico, the guys in Ghana, the guys in Namibia, all these different boxing markets and places where boxers come from. 90% of boxing grew up poor, bro. What the fuck are you saying? That because you grew up in Tennessee, that gives you like really? He grew up in Mexico, which is worse. This shit is ridiculous. You and the whole of boxing grew up poor. The people watching boxing grew up poor, most of them. So what are you saying, bro? Shout out to my man AJ Sup Rank. Plant gonna need the super soldier serum. Bro, he better call Steve Rogers and see about getting that serum. He better call him. But the cops blasted his mama. Well, I mean, like, look, I'm not gonna poke fun at that. I'm not gonna poke fun at that. That's not funny. But it's man. Where's my man Beats? Where Beats at? My man Beats at? I don't see Beats. There's my man. Get my man Beats on here, who I ain't talked to in a while. You know what I'm saying? The chitty chats have been a little bit overpopulated, but I got to get my man Beats on here. And it's just a lot of different things that you be like, yo, dog, like I don't like being too sold on a fight, because that's when upsets tend to happen when you're too sold on a fight. But I've seen Caleb, bro, and I've seen him touched up by a lot of guys. So I'm like, based on logistics, I can't pick Caleb to do anything in this fight. Demetrius Andre, Billy Joe Saunders, all trickier fighters than Caleb Plant. All trickier fighters who have arguably fought. Well, not with Billy. It's not an argument. He has fought better people than Caleb. He fought unbeaten Gary Spike O'Sullivan. He fought unbeaten John Ryder. He fought unbeaten Chris Eubank. He beat Andy Lee when he was a world champion. He beat David Lemieux and outclassed him. And everybody conveniently forgets the bookies had David as a favorite. The fans had David as a favorite. But Billy outclassed him. All right? Caleb don't have no fights like that. So what the hell are we talking about? What are we talking about? There's America poor and there's third world country poor. Ain't that the truth? A guy in the United States talking about I had it hard is a comedy act to a guy who lives south of the border. You don't know what hard is. You don't know what hard is. Like, nah, you wildin'. Don't say that bullshit. Oh, that gives you an edge. Julius is basically Canelo is taking a tune-up for kind of. I mean, let's put it another way because I don't want to diminish what he's doing. Caleb Plant would be a great scalp for David Benavidez. Caleb Plant would be a great scalp for Billy Joe Saunders. Caleb Plant would have been a great scalp for Callum Smith. But Canelo has refined his craft enough that he separated himself from these guys. And it reminds me of when Roy was fighting, when I was young and Roy was in his prime. People didn't view the Tony fight then the way it's viewed now because hindsight is 2020. People didn't view the Hopkins fight then the way they view it now, the first Hopkins fight, because remember, there's like 14 fucking years between the first fight and the second fight. And people didn't view it then the way they view it now. At that time, he separated himself so much from the guys that were out there that they said he didn't fight nobody, that he didn't fight nobody good. But that was how far he separated himself from a lot of guys. Hindsight being 2020, having seen more of James Toney, having seen more of Bernard Hopkins and their careers, these are victories that aged very well. But I remember at that time, people didn't appreciate those victories as much as they do now. With Canelo, he's fighting a guy that to him probably is not even ranking very high on his list of fighters that he's fought. But on everyone else's list, Caleb Plant would be a solid victory, a respectable one. And the same is true in reverse. For all those people, stream is ended. Click this joint, bro. Hold on, wait. I got you. Hold on. I think I posted the wrong link, bro. Let me get I think I posted the link to the previous chat. For all those people that want to say that Callum Smith is no good, Callum Smith would be the best win on Caleb Plant's resume had he been the one that took his belt. For those that want to say that Billy Joe Saunders is no good, Billy Joe Saunders would be the best win on Caleb Plant's or David Benavidez's resume. Better even than Anthony Durrell. It's ridiculous. I've seen just so much, and that's why I really don't like Twitter, because you got to see stupid shit that people say that you wouldn't otherwise see. You would conversations that you otherwise wouldn't partake or engage in based on stupid shit that people say. So Beats, my man.
Yo,
Clarissa lost yesterday. A lot of people reacting to it. What do you make of all of that?
Look, I'm not her greatest fan, but jumping on a combat athlete because they lose a fight says more about them than it does Clarissa. Let's just keep it real. You know, like, see, just because I'm not keen on someone, I don't wait for the first opportunity to, look. She went in a fight. It's a combat sport that I'm not doing. I know I'd probably get beaten if I went into a boxing ring or an MMA ring. I probably wouldn't come out undefeated. So, them people are idiots, man. Them people are idiots, to be honest. You see, what I do, I try and be fair. When you do something dumb, I call it. When you do something dumb, I call it. When you do something dumb, I call it. When you do something good, I call it good. You know, she lost the fight. So what? So what?
I'll say this, Beats. I agree that losing a fight, especially one in a sport that you're not that familiar with, it shouldn't be the end of the world. The reason I believe it has grabbed so much attention is because of things that have led to this point. Saying things like you beat Keith Thurman and you beat Triple G and you beat up Jake Paul. And when the people that saw you say those things and heard you say those things, when they see that you couldn't even beat Abby Montez, but we supposed to believe you was going to beat Triple G?
Look, let's keep it real, right? If you was a combat fighter, I'm just judging by what I know from you. You and I would talk the most shit. We would both talk the most shit.
I gotta disagree, Beats. If I was like somebody who I am like, honestly, or liking their personality to my own, I'm more of a Usyk. I'm not a big shit talker. I'm actually not. I'm gonna do what I need to do to win.
You wouldn't do shit?
Nah, I'm not big on shit talking. I'm big on respecting the person that's in front of you, because if you don't respect them, you cannot prepare for them properly.
No, I'm not saying you would necessarily disrespect shit though, but I think your affinity with words would lead you to talk in a bit of, you know, like a bit of thespian banter. I just couldn't see you not doing that.
Maybe I would say, look, if it's me, right, just me, I know myself. Maybe after the fight, but not before, because
I took some shit.
And you talk some good shit too. I'm Mercedes talk some good shit. Some good shit. But I can't, like, I'm not big on threats. I'm not big on saying this and that. I'm not big on that. Like, I'm just not big on that. Like, nah. I don't like making promises, right? Yeah. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. We'll find out what that is. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And then after that, if I really beat the shit out of you, then yeah, I'll talk some shit after that. Like, look, he said he was going but I beat the shit out of him.
The person I felt was an idiot was Jake Paul. Like, this karma shit. This is what does me in. Like, to me, I don't wait for karma to go and deal with my enemies. If I'm going to deal with them, I deal with them. Like, he believes that she lost because she said something about him. Them people are deluded.
I gotta disagree with you, and here's why. And I'll let and you can rebuttal. I disagree because I think it was always beneath Clarissa a double Olympic gold medalist, unified undisputed champion, to worry about the exploits of a parody, of a clown, right? But you entered that clown world when you kept attacking him and he wasn't saying nothing back at you. I remember all the way back in January, she was saying shit about that guy, and I'm like, why is she doing that? He's a clown. You lowering yourself talking about this clown, but you kept doing that, and he played it smart. Like, I'm not gonna say nothing to you. I'm not gonna say nothing back at you because you're trying to goad me into arguing with, and I'm not gonna do that. So when it goes sideways for you, it's like Evander said: be careful how you treat people on the way up, because those are the people you're gonna pass on the way down.
Well, she's had to she's deactivated her account apparently, so she can't really she can give it out, but she can't take it back. That's the biggest problem, is that she talks a lot, but when she gets the feedback, she doesn't like it.
She deactivated her her Twitter.
I believe so. That's what they're saying.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up because she has to look. You have to face the music. I believe that a big part of the reason Wilder went into the third fight the way that he did is because he didn't face the music. You got to
Yeah,
face the music, bro. You got beat by a better boxer, and if you want to beat him, you need to be honest with yourself about that.
100%, man. 100%. I think Wilder's got too much credit for his performance, man. Like, to me, his legs were dead after a few rounds. He scored a knockdown, but a couple of but he didn't do no great performance. He was getting battered in there.
Neither of them did, in my opinion. It was entertaining. It was entertaining, but I even view, and people are gonna think I'm weird for saying this. I saw more skill in Mercer versus Morrison than Wilder versus Fury.
Yeah, yeah.
Even the Italian guy, Mercer versus Dimiani. Dimiani showed me more skills with Ray Mercer than Wilder and Fury showed. They were just it was a cycle of Fury throws a jab, lands a jab, collapses the pocket, then leans on Wilder and tires him out, and it just repeated itself that way.
I mean, like the whole notion that Fury could beat all these contenders, and the only recognizable name he's beat since 2015 is Wilder. Wilder can punch. He's got one big shot. But he can't really do much more, man. Can't really do much more.
Beats, I want you to answer this question for Jagged 3000, and I'll go after you. Did Canelo have another style change in the second Triple G fight?
Did he have another? Well, he boxed on the back foot more in the first, didn't he? He was more aggressive in the second. Um,
I'll say that he was more of a pressure fighter. He forced Triple G to fight on his back foot, and when Triple G can't step into his jab, when it's not a step jab, it don't have the same power. He was jabbing going backwards, jabbing moving sideways. He was moving a lot, and Canelo forced him to move. So he did have a style change for me, and that affected Triple G's power because Triple G normally steps into his jab, and that's why it hurt so much when he landed, because he stepped into that jab and his 160, 168 pounds the night of the fight, it's all behind that jab. But if he can't step into it, right, there's not as much on that jab, so you can't accumulate the same damage. Canelo did that by forcing him to move backwards.
yeah. AJ needs that kind of trip hammer jab against Usyk, man. That's what he needs.
I feel like all AJ people look, everybody thinks Usyk is God now, right?
Yeah.
And because I don't think anybody is God, Usyk or otherwise, I don't think anybody is God.
Nobody's good.
Nobody is, right? To me, what AJ needs, just what I think, forget about slipping and rolling and riding. Prepare to be hit because you need to overpower this little man. That's what you have. You have power and size. That's what you can use to beat him. Step into your jab, prepare to be hit, and hook off to the body because I don't think he likes it there. And I don't think he's used to being hit there.
Yeah. I'd agree, man. He slam that jab into Usyk, get them body shots off, lean on him, drain him, make it ugly when necessary. And it doesn't matter if it's a points win or a knockout, as long as he gets the W. That's where he needs to be with it. You know.
I mean, I think he's in a lot of people are reacting. I enjoyed the interview. I believe that underneath it all, AJ is a street guy because he sounds like a street guy and he's a hustler. And I do believe that he's been hustling people with this stay hungry, stay humble shit. I don't believe he's humble. I believe he takes pride in what he does. And the reason he doesn't express it as much is because he knows better. If you a hustler, what I'm gonna do that for? If I play the game, I'm gonna get mad money. So I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna be squeaky clean and all of that. Because if you ever did anything bad, why would you want to tell anybody? Why? If I did a bunch of shit that'd give me a felony, why the fuck would I tell anybody? I wouldn't. I'd say the opposite, man. I'm off going to church and giving it a collection plate.
AJ was probably more mischievous. Like Watford street, there's some like hard nuts up Watford, man. But streets is, I mean, like not trying to hold it as a badge. It's where I grew up. That's Tottenham, Brixton, or probably where Lyndon are from. Certain areas where Lyndon and Manchester, Toxteth, Liverpool. But AJ didn't grow up in those streets, really.
I don't know. He look the way he moved, right? I'm gonna say this. He Wile Coyote. He's smarter than people give him credit for. Why? Because he knew to play the game. And it's an easy game to play. It's an easy game to win. You know what I mean? And he knew that much. Whereas you got other guys, they'll bring up the streets as if somebody like nobody give a fuck about the streets. You don't realize that? That's why you try to get out of the streets, because don't nobody give a fuck about them shits.
Yeah.
The whole time you in the streets, if you doing anything, it's trying to get off them streets, not staying in them damn streets. If you stay there, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah, only idiots stay there. That's right. You know what I mean?
I said this yesterday. It's one of my favorite things that Jay-Z said. It's a quote that has stuck with me for many, many years, because I do believe it applies to me and just things that I've done. Is that, well, when you get money, people like to say that you changed, right? But of course, I didn't do all this to stay the same. Did you? You think we out here grinding and doing all this crazy shit so we could be in the same position 5 years from now? No.
Well, that's it. And like this whole notion, like of changing, like it's a bad thing. It's crazy in society.
Nah, change is good, man. Change is good.
Yeah.
Change is good. The only person, or the only entity that I believe does not have to change is God himself, because he's bound to his nature. But we as human beings have to change. We have to adapt, because the flesh is weak.
Yeah. You got to change and adapt, man, 100%. You know, like what do they want people to do? Like, you know, you get money and you're still in a trap house.
They want to fucking. What kills me is these people don't want to say that what they really want underneath it all is a handout. They don't want to do the work that you did. They want a handout. They want you to make it easier for them because you have something in common. And suck my fucking dick, because I'm not doing that. It's your job. It's your job to worry about how you gonna get by, not mine.
See that comment there by Jaguar? The cool British accent makes it hard to believe the hardest. That's how a lot of yardies from Jamaicans and Americans have got fucked up over here.
Well, that's because a lot of Americans don't realize the stabbings are pretty big in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Stabbings are pretty big, and I'm not going to say nothing, but stabbing somebody to death, it takes a certain person. It takes a certain kind of person to do that. Yeah, it don't take nothing to shoot a gun and not even aim and hit some kids in a schoolyard or some wild shit like that. The way these guys shoot, you could you scared more than anything. You scared more than you want to kill somebody the way you shooting, right? When you stab somebody, that's intent, bro. You gotta want to do that, because it's messy. Blood to get on your hands and all of that crazy shit.
Yeah. Listen, where I grew up, I saw a lot of them. So I got stabbed myself.
Bro, it's wild. Like it's America. I can't even begin with this country and the misconceptions it has about itself and its people. Because I'm like, yo, dog, America really think that we in the 80s and this is the Rambo era when we thought we was the shit, and not understanding the poorest of the poor motherfuckers in America ain't got nothing on the halfway poor motherfucker in Mexico. You wildin'.
That's right.
You wildin'. It's terrible out there, bro. While Canelo Alvarez, I forgot who he was fighting, man. And this is commonplace. If you're a Spanish-speaking person, you'll know this is actually commonplace in Mexico. It happened to anyone from Canelo Alvarez to Thalia, who's a soap opera was a soap opera actress in Latin America.
Right.
Getting your family members ransomed by people, that is common. More common than you think. and people have to deal with that. That's the kind of environment that is down there. You feel me? And you think you got it bad up here because you ain't got enough money to buy the clothes you want?
Yeah. Listen, man, like, you know, I'm in my 50s, and I'm not gonna like claim extreme poverty, but the Britain I grew up in now, like, there was less entitlements to a lot of stuff, and you know, like, I remember my parents having to do that part. There was like the West Indians used to get into a partner scheme where they put a bit in the pot. Everybody would put a bit in the pot, and you wait for your time to come round so you can get a bit of bread.
We did that. We did that. We did that.
Right.
We did that same shit.
And you know that's poor people living, right? That's what we do.
Yeah, we did that. That's my grandmother did that. That same shit. Everybody pours money into that pot, and then it's your turn, and then you get the bread. And it's a pyramid because at the end of it, somebody's gonna get shortchanged because by the time their turn rolls around, there's not gonna be as much money in the pot. Why? It was given away.
Yeah. There was them arguments used to come up, you know, and it is what it is. Like, you know, it's not a badge of honor. It's like most of the kids today, they don't know what it's like to have a cold house because you got paraffin heating and shit like that. They don't know about that shit.
I'll say, I kind of think of it in some ways as a badge of honor, but only if you pull yourself out. If you're still there, it's not a badge of honor. It's a sign of failure.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Yeah,
it's guys that if the hood and the cops and the shit and the rent and everything, if all of that is bad, what are you doing to get out of there? What are you doing?
That's the big question, man. That's the big question. That's the big question right there.
Because it seems to me that for a lot of people, complaining will suffice. Well, not for some of us. Complaining, fuck complaining. I'm getting out of here.
Hey, AJ, he slung a couple of bags, maybe some weed, a bit of coke, and a bit of fish. But you know what I mean, like he wasn't no Big Meech or nothing.
Hey, I don't know if he was Big Meech, but he might have been a Memphis Bleak. He might have been a Memphis Bleak is money. Memphis Bleak is money. Hold a shot, call a blunt, smoke a high roller. Shit.
It's so good, man. It's so good. Yeah, he's not a cornball. He's not a cornball by any stretch of the imagination or anything like that. He ain't no cornball.
Look. The cornballs, like I don't know, man. America's just in such a weird place because they can't see the forest for the trees. The cornball is Gary Russell. You a cornball. You talk all that shit about shit that you ain't even fucking doing. You was talking shit to Terrence Crawford and Devin Haney last year. You ain't fought near one of them. Still talking about Gervonta Davis. Gervonta don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, no one cares about it.
And that's like the real cornballs right now. Like, Ryan, you a cornball. You talking about you gonna be a great boxer? You gonna be what? Bro, you had a panic attack over Javier Fortuna, bro.
I can't take Ryan serious no more.
I don't take him serious, B. Like, that's a cornball. A cornball is Wilder. You picked this man, bro. You made this bed. Now you got the lie in it. So you could turn around, oh, he cheated. Oh, so you could go into the same circumstances, the exact same circumstances, the same fighter, the same gloves, the same boxing commission, and still lose. You're a cornball. You're a cornball.
What cracks me up about it, man, like, is the praise he's getting for getting battered. So now what they're all saying is oh, no one can beat Wilder except Fury except Wilder. That's his new badge. He's no longer the best now, but nobody can beat Fury except Wilder. That's he's the second best now. That's the prize, and no one can beat the first. Listen, let Fury go on a run where he takes on at least 4 or 5 of the current top 10. Let's say a consensus top 10. Let's see if he don't take it. If he don't take it, they're not giving him his props. You know what I mean?
Same.
But I reckon he will. I reckon he's gonna slip up somewhere.
I believe he will because Fury has been. Oh, let me read the super chat. people talk about the streets like if it improves your FICO or credit score. Yeah, bro, this is what I'm trying to like. Look. When I was in college and I was like doing wild shit and all of that, right? The goal is to get out the streets, bro. I don't know what other people's goal is or was, but that was the goal. Get out, move somewhere better. The goal wasn't to stay there and be there forever and die there. Now, for some people, like I said, some people are happy complaining. Some people, but not me.
Man, they ain't even like. There's some bad areas in England, but they ain't really no streets really like that. Man.
No,
They really no
no.
streets like that.
Because the people that's out there doing all the freak shit ain't online. Well,
Not
they
enough.
dead.
Not enough.
They dead or in jail.
That's right.
They ain't sitting around. They dead or in jail, bro. It's just one or the other. I only know like maybe 2-3 fairy tales my whole life about guys that did wild shit. And I won't say nothing, obviously. But I only know like 2 or 3 fairy tales where it all worked out in the end. Where it all worked out in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than that, man, them wild ass motherfuckers is dead or in jail. They ain't only in 2 places. They're in the ground or in a cell.
But I know a few of them, like, you know what I mean? They were so threatening, and then a couple events, they're the most shook people. They don't even come round the way no more. Because,
Yeah.
because
And
they were
even
so wicked that the comeback had to be even wickeder than what they were.
or they got old. Sometimes you did a lot of bad shit, and yeah, I'm real big on the Bible. I'm a Judeo-Christian kind of guy. I got nothing against nobody else's faith. Your faith is your own personal business. Mine's is based in Christianity. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You do a lot of fucked up shit, wait for it, because a lot of fucked up shit is gonna happen now. It's that simple. Let me read the super chat. If Triple G beats Murata, does he unify afterwards? That's the $1 million question, Deed. I believe that because the contract with the zone is amended and it's just a hunch. I don't know this to be true. I haven't seen it, haven't heard it, haven't read it anywhere. But I believe that a part of the amended contract is that if Triple G wants certain dollar amounts, I believe they're going to push an Andrade fight because they need to get something out of that. They've been giving Andrade, money. They've been giving Triple G money. It's like, yo, y'all both fight on our platform, but we can't get y'all to fight each other. We need a return on this. We need y'all to fight. So I believe if he beats Murata, maybe, big maybe, he
I tell you
fights
what, man,
Andrade.
I'm looking forward to Andrade fighting in the UK. He's fighting quickly in the UK, so yeah, I mean, maybe you could like if them guys are trying to duck like Triple G, maybe he should just relocate, man. I think he'd do well over here, man. I think he'd be
Listen,
well.
I'm up to here with Triple G's fans. I'm up to here because these people said that Sergio Martinez ducked Triple G, right?
Right.
Because he was old and he wanted the payday. Triple G does the same thing, and it's supposed to be different. Now, I said, Sergio, you a champion, all right? You got a champion's responsibilities. You ducking your mandatory to fight a little Cotto. And I know why you're doing it, but a duck is a duck is a duck. I'm not your publicist. Same for Triple G. Andre been here this whole time. You didn't need to motherfucking wait the unified title. You could have unified with him in house. A duck is a duck is a duck.
100%.
This shit don't make no goddamn sense for me to sit here explaining like, bro, I don't gotta. It ain't hard. You say, right? Y'all critics. Y'all say Andre ain't fought nobody, right? Y'all say he sucks, right? So then why should fighting him be a problem?
Well, that's the $1 million question is exactly that. You know what I mean? But yo, look, man. He needs to look good. See, Quigley is the perfect opportunity, right? People might not say he's great, but if you can look really good against him and do a clean job, you know what I mean? That's how Triple G built up his resume on Quigley's.
Yeah, he did. Off Quigley's, off Murray's and Macklin's, and that's what he did.
But he was decisive in doing it. That's the thing.
Moreover, if it's a show, because the show factor is also important. Him and Williams put on a show. That was not a boring fight. That was not a boring fight. The Akavov fight was boring, but that fight with Williams was not boring. If you could put on a show where it's a fight and it's a contest, that'll do. That'll do.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That'll do. Because these motherfuckers, like, they think Charlo going in there looking like doodoo with Montiel. Bro, how the fuck is that good for him? He looked like doodoo when y'all hyping him up, and he the one that looked like doodoo.
He looked horrible against Montiel, man. To be honest, man. He looked horrible against Montiel.
Look fucking horrible, bro. Montiel getting, I'm like, yo, and this the guy y'all think Canelo ducking. All right.
He said, what didn't he say? Fight Benavidez at 160 or something recently.
He did. Listen. The whole thing with Benavidez, he started all of that. He started it last year. He started that. Benavidez was not looking at him. He said, yo, if Anthony don't get the rematch, I'll go up there and fuck him up. He said that, and that's where it started. David heard that shit, and David was like, oh, word, you gonna come up here and fuck me up? So come up here and fuck me up.
Yeah.
What you waiting for? That's how all of that kicked off. So he could turn around, nah, it ain't nothing in it for me. He ain't got a vaccine. He ain't got. Then what you talking about him for then?
He say, I'm not fighting anyone over 25 or something.
Some goofy ass. I'm like, yo, I never heard no fighter talk like that.
He's a weirdo, man. He's a weirdo.
You don't want to fight Andre. You don't want to fight Benavidez. You calling out Golovkin knowing Golovkin just signed a contract to fight another motherfucker. You are a clown.
He's what the elder one is doing. He's cashing out, man. He's cashing out. He's got no shame about it either. He knows he's beatable, but he knows there's a lot of money on the table. Even if he doesn't take the bigger fights, he can earn 200, 500 grand every time he defends, and he's happy with that because where he's located, it's probably not that expensive, to have a good life.
Well, houses in Texas don't cost a lot of money. That's why I'm looking to move there, because houses in Texas, like, I don't want a house where I am because I don't want to pay $500,000 to look at a Wawa and shit. I don't think that makes sense to look at a Wawa or a Publix, and I got to give y'all $500,000. Suck my dick 500,000 times. Not doing that. In Texas, you get more house, bigger house, and land. So I want to go to Texas.
Bang for your buck, bro. Bang for your buck. Because I saw his when I saw his house, I was watching. It could have been a 24/7, and I saw his lifestyle. I said, "That's why you're not taking fights. That's why."
Yeah.
Because just doing what you're doing, he's nice. He's good. He's good.
And I look, I don't knock. Like, I don't want to knock because I get it. It's just that when we have to interpret the moves, okay, it's obvious that you're living comfortable or you're living in a way that you like, and you're not what people say you are. People want you to be a boogeyman, but I know that you're not a boogeyman. There ain't no motherfucking way. It ain't no motherfucking way.
The PBC have the most fraudulent boogeymen ever.
Really? Yeah, really.
Whether it's him or who's the Cuban? I forgot his name now. He's so irrelevant. Ortiz.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, fucking Ortiz. I can't have a conversation about Ortiz and not have my blood boil. Like, your dog, like, the dude been around since 2010. That means you was around for Prime Pulev. You was around for Prime Povetkin. You was around for a more prime Klitschko, right? Like, because remember, Vitaly didn't retire till 2013 officially. That means for 2 years of your career, he was around. If you missed him, fine. But what about Vladimir? You didn't miss him. And he's not on your fucking... Who the fuck did you beat? That's what the question becomes. That you a boogeyman. Get the fuck out of here.
Tony Thompson's one of his best wins.
And he didn't even fight a prime. By the time he fought Tony Thompson was 42 or something years old.
Yep. And I think he was pretty inactive as well, from what I remember.
To me, his best win is probably Bryant Jennings, right? And I always say this. What happened earlier that year before Ortiz fought Jennings? He had lost to Klitschko, right? Yeah. So I don't look at that as a dope win. Now, if you tell me that Jennings had like 3 victories in between, okay, now we cooking with rice. But if you catching a guy on a rebound and you beat him, then that ain't a dope win. How?
Yep. He beat Tony Thompson when Tony Thompson was coming off a loss to Malik.
To Malik Scott. So
Yeah.
what does it say about Tony that he losing fights to Malik Scott?
He's finished.
Yeah.
A prime Malik could have beat Tony Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Tony could punch, man. Tony could punch.
Yeah, the Tony Thompson who fought Klitschko ain't losing to Malik.
You know what I'm saying? Tony Thompson is one of the most identifiable guys to me because he looked like everybody's uncle wrapped into one person. He looked like everybody's uncle. Tony Thompson. Real shit.
It's true. Old face Tony, man.
Word, he one of them cats that like, yo, you always been old. Like, you probably had that mustache in high school. Like, you just was always old. Real shit, yo. But I'm like, look, man, Ortiz, that's just a byproduct of, and I don't think Golden Boy gets enough heat for this because Wilder's resume, a good chunk of it was under Golden Boy. Ortiz's resume, a good chunk of it was under Golden Boy. Now you look at Jaime Munguia's resume, right? This guy got a lot of fights. Coincidence? Yeah. I think not.
Yep. And he ain't really Jaime he ain't really tested himself fully, is it, to the fullest.
To me, Jaime has a better middleweight resume than Jamal, but Jamal's resume sucks, so that's not saying much. Like why Jamal don't have a Turiano Johnson fight? Turiano been around the block. He fought a lot of people, but why you got a Juan Montiel instead of a Turiano Johnson? You know what I mean?
Charlo is afraid to give up that lifestyle, bro. That's what it is.
Shit, soon enough, I think that and I feel this way now. Once again, people gonna think I'm crazy. I think Jaime can beat him now because before when Jaime first moved up to middleweight, I felt he better stay away from Charlo because you're gonna get picked off. But now that Charlo's power is waning and he's looking very basic, and Jaime is still young, he's entering his prime years. Now I feel like, well, if you make Munguia versus Charlo, Munguia wins. Now,
very competitive fight. I don't know if Jaime wins it. I'm not sure if Jamal wins it or Jamil or whatever they call it. Yeah, I think it's very competitive. That's a very I'd like to see that fight. That's very.
I think that fight. I think you could put that on pay-per-view. I know it'll sell tickets in Texas. I know that for a fact. It'll sell tickets in Texas. Definitely will because Jamal has fans there, and Jaime he has fans there. And I know that it'll sell as a pay-per-view so long as the guarantees are in the realm of, let's say, $2 million for Jaime or $1 million for Jaime up front. You give Jamal maybe 2, maybe 3 up front because he's a champion. And you could really do good business with that pay-per-view. You could. But they're not going to make that fight.
It's got the key ingredients, African American and Mexican, so it's got the create, and I think their styles would probably gel well in the ring as well.
Oh yeah, it'll be a better version. It'll be a better, more aggressive version of the Montiel fight because Jaime has dog. If you hit him clean, he's gonna throw back. He's gonna throw back. Like he ain't going to shell up and run away. He's going to throw back and try to get that back. So either you going to knock him out or he going to come for you and knock you out.
Morales is training him to be a crowd-pleasing fighter, man. Like his defense is literally his offense.
You know? Yeah. His defense is to disarm you by throwing. Yeah. Not to slip and move and parry. No, his defense is I'm going to throw so much that you can't throw.
Yeah.
Now, because of what I saw in the Montiel fight, I saw how Charlo took those shots, and I'm like, yo, dog, if Jaime gets through with a clean one, might hurt this dude, bro. Might hurt this dude. Like, now that he's entering his prime years, And Charlo's not a young guy. They think of him as a young guy, but yo, that dude is in his early 30s, man.
Yeah, he's in his, yeah.
Dude is not no 25-year-old. That dude is in his early 30s. Like he's going in that direction, all right? Not a young guy.
I remember seeing him in, like on one of the come up fights. Was it him or his brother? I saw him on the canvas on one of his come up fights, man. You know what I mean?
Charlo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, one of them was on the canvas in their come up fights, man. I can't remember. We're talking years back though.
Bro, you know that they try to hide shit because the footage of Andre Ward being floored by Darnell Boone, the footage of Sergey Kovalev being floored by Darnell Boone, you won't find it. You won't. The Harold Skoniers footage, you won't find that either. You won't find it. That shit is.
The Darnell Boone Andre Ward. I think that might be online.
I haven't seen it. I know for a fact you won't find the Kovalev footage.
Oh, the Kovalev, but
you won't find that.
Real. They only grilled that one, bro.
All you gonna see is look. I don't even think you could find a picture of that shit on Google. You can't find a picture of that shit.
Off of Donna's resume, wipes out the.
They struck that shit was stricken from the record. Like, nah, we can't let you see that.
Are they still with Donna looking at Adonis?
I haven't. Look, it's like I said, certain shit. You're not gonna find it, bro. Like, nah, that shit is not available, dog. That's not
was a naughty boy for a journeyman. Naughty boy.
Well, he had what was his punch? Was it the overhand right? His signature punch, was it an overhand? Because I don't remember it being a straight. I remember it was like a looping shot that if he throw that and he landed, you going out.
I did see him knock. I saw the Ward fight though. I did see it. I
saw a picture. I saw a picture of the Ward fight because Ward was flat on his stomach in the picture, but I didn't see the fight. I didn't see the fight. I don't know. And Kovalev, forget it, B.
He was hurt worse than what Kovalev. I actually interviewed Darnell Boone with 78, and he said that Kovalev is going to beat Ward. You know what I mean? He's a little off. Close. I mean,
look, I'll concede to this, right? I'll concede to this. If somebody tells me that they at home scored Kovalev versus Ward 1 for Kovalev, I can definitely see that. Now, the second fight, those were belt line shots. Don't fucking tell. Those are belt line shots. And Sergey wears his trunks extra high because he don't like it to the body. And everybody can fucking see that. Your trunks, bro, your fucking trunks are damn near to your diaphragm. That's on purpose. Like, you doing that so that when you get hit in the belly, you be like, yo, he hitting me low. He hitting me low. Fuck out of here, B.
What's the truth, though? When he took that right cross from Ward and his legs done a little dance after that right cross.
Like, remember, he set it all up off the stab to the body because in the first fight, when Ward was making the adjustments, he started touching Sergey with a jab to the body, a stab to the body. And he seen, they're like, oh, shit, he don't like it there. So in the second fight, he picked up where he left off with the stab to the body. Yeah. Now we know. Now we know what we got to do with you.
Yeah, man.
Tommy land that right cross. It wasn't nothing in the gas tank for Sergey. Like, by the time he got hit with the right cross.
Some guy said he hit like a girl. That's a fucked up girl, bro. That's fuck, man.
Oh, shit, yeah. Sergey had a good run. He's an asshole, though, and he's a drunk driver. I have no sympathy for anybody.
Sergey's a crazy man. Crazy man.
I don't have no sympathy for no drunk driver. And I always say it's because when I'm on the road, 9 times out of 10, my children are with me. And it's people like Sergey that put us in danger.
Yeah, 100%.
So I have no sympathy for no fucking alcoholic behind the wheel. Nah, I don't have no sympathy for you, bro. If you want to flip your car, flip it at the airport where ain't nobody driving. Stay the fuck off the road.
When's the last time he fought? He was supposed to fight Beck, wasn't he? Right?
But he got popped. He got popped for some kind of banned substance. It's my understanding that Golden Boy still owes him a fight, though. They owe him a fight.
Yeah.
They owe him one fight, and this is why I don't understand why they haven't made Zerto versus Kovalev. Get it over with. You invested in Zerto now, right? Because the shit with Zerto is clout chasing B-ball and trying to cut ahead of the line of Buatsi. And I'm not gonna let that narrative gain no steam. Buatsi has worked his way up to number 2 WBA.
Yep.
Zerto is not even fucking ranked, but you want me to believe that he wants beef. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here.
Yeah, Zerto, man, he's got some ability, but I can't really take him serious, man.
I don't take him serious because you skipped out of the 4-man WBO tournament, right? You was talking to Eddie, and I remember Eddie said last year they offered you to fight. You want ridiculous money. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Like you probably want an arm for B-ball. B-ball ain't no motherfucking. B-ball ain't no motherfucker that'll get you ridiculous money, bro. I'm just saying,
no, definitely not. Like B-ball's career just. Ugh.
Look. If they make Bivol versus Buatsi, right? And let's say Bivol wins and he fights Smith, he back in the black. With me, he back in the black because he already had a good resume. Smith, Barrera, motherfucking Smith Jr., Barrera, Pascal, and after he beat Pascal, what Pascal do? He beat Brown and he beat Jack. So those are victories that aged well. You know what I mean? So if he beats, let's say, we don't know, but let's say if he fights Joshua Buatsi next year, if he wins the fight, that's a good scalp. That's a good scalp. That's a good amateur, solid.
It's a very good scalp. It's a very good scalp. I don't think it's an easy fight for him either.
And
it's an easy fight for Bivol.
Now, Smith is with Buddy McGirt, right? We see what Smith did to motherfucking Castillo. He had him seasoned on the canvas. If he goes from Buatsi to Smith, that's a good ass run.
I tell you what, man. I don't believe Caleb Plant could beat Caleb Smith on Caleb's worst day. I don't believe he could. I think Rocky Fielding gives Caleb life and death. I know people are gonna laugh at that, but I do. I really
do. I see where you're coming from, and it's because Rocky Fielding is more physically imposing than Caleb in terms of size, and Rocky is a mid-range, the inside fighter. He not going long distance jab you. He gonna come down on you like that and hook off. And keeping it real with you, watch Caleb Plant's fights. He mark easy as shit. Easy as shit. He get nothing, cuts this guy. He get caught up for nothing. Canelo slapped him and cut him. How you get cut off a slap, my guy?
I just don't see what Caleb has to win the fight, man. And you were saying earlier, when you can't see anything going for the guy, this is when upsets happen. That's what I'm looking at. I said I can't see nothing going for Caleb. That's when it's the most. It just seems likely an upset's going to happen because I don't know, man.
No, I mean, look, Beats, we done been through this with Mike. We done been through this with Roy. We went through it not that long ago with Anthony Joshua and Miguel Burchelt, right? Because we all thought Oscar's going to get killed, bro. Burchelt is going to maul this slow ass man.
Yeah.
And it be like that. But logically, I cannot bring myself, Caleb for the up. I'm like, nah, dog, I've been seeing this guy, man. He sucks.
Yeah, Caleb is a poor fighter, man.
To me, he's a poor man's Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, he was insulted to be compared to Billy, but who says you're better?
What did you do? Who did you beat that's better, Mike Lee? Like, come on, B. Like. Look, I know Billy's an asshole. Billy is a lot of things, but that motherfucker can box, and I don't give a shit. That motherfucker can box.
Yeah, Billy can box.
He actually pulled the upset because everybody conveniently forgets the Lemieux decision win was an upset. The bookies had Lemieux as the favorite. The boxing groups on Facebook, I seen all of that shit. They was picking Lemieux to knock his ass out.
Yeah. I want to pick up Tone in the comment section. He said, I'd love to see an upset. I wouldn't mind seeing Caleb upset Canelo. I just don't. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
There's upsets I could live with. That is not one of them because that will give PBC control of 4 world titles in the super middleweight division. And I don't want to deal with that. They will fuck that division. They will fuck that division right up. Is what will happen. And I don't need that.
What I don't like is how they let Canelo do all the legwork and collect all the belts, and then at the last minute they come and swoop in and become undisputed. That's a bit messed up. That's a bit messed up. But that's life sometimes, man.
I mean, I feel like this. Like, I think honestly, I think Canelo's gonna beat the guy. It's what he does after that I'm curious about. At that point, I feel like, you know what? Just fight Guillermo Charlo. Give him what he wants. Put him on the spot. Give him what he wants, and fuck him up. And then you leave. You know what I mean? If you fight Caleb and then you leave, there's always gonna be that, oh, but you didn't fight Charlo and Benavidez. But at least
people ain't gonna bring that up. What, he didn't fight shit?
They're gonna bring it up. They're gonna bring it up.
Who's gonna bring that up?
The people on the people on this side of the Atlantic Ocean, right? They're gonna bring up that, okay, well, you know, if you're at 68 and you're gonna stay at 68, right? If you're gonna stay at 68, there's fights. You know, there's Benavidez, there's Charlo. Now, if you don't stay at 68, if you go back over the matchroom and you tell Eddie, well, Eddie, I want Bivol. All right, now fuck Charlo and Benavidez. Well, because he's getting Bivol. Bivol's got a belt. Bivol's in his prime. All right, so it depends on where he goes and what he does. If he stays at 68, right, and he don't fight a Charlo, and he don't fight a Benavidez, then people gonna put it under a microscope. But if he shoots up right after that, no, they're not gonna say nothing because it's like, yo, he's fighting fucking Bivol. Bivol has a better resume than Charlo.
So wait. You beat Golovkin and Jacobs at 160, right? And then you retire after winning all 4 belts at 168. And I'm gonna say something because you don't fight Charlo, who would have fight Benavidez, and ain't fought nobody.
Bro, that's
I'd have to be arguing in Canelo's favor for that one.
Beats, me and you are more level-headed than a lot of other people. And I honestly, look, I could live without Canelo versus Charlo. I could live without Canelo versus Benavidez because, look, he fought Lara when there was no reason to fight Lara. I don't care what the decision was. He fought Lara when nobody wanted Lara. Neither one of the Charlo brothers have fought Lara. Neither one of y'all fought him. I mean, like he fought Lara, he fought Trout, he fought Jacobs, he fought Golovkin for 24 rounds. He fought Golovkin 24. He beat unbeaten Callum Smith. He beat unbeaten Liam Smith. He beat unbeaten Billy Joe Son. And I'm posting shit on him.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't do that. Not when Liam Smith fell out.
I actually think the Callum Smith win is one of the most underrated wins in recent boxing history.
I think the Liam Smith win is one of the more underrated wins. And that's because it's aging.
That one, yeah. Even that one. Yeah.
It's aging well. Why? Look, and I mean this in the bottom of my heart. Liam Smith versus Tim Tszyu is the fight. That is that is the fight.
Yes.
That fucking fight. Liam got experience. I know he's not Canelo. I understand that. I know he's not Lara. I understand that. But this dude is not no pushover. Anthony Fowler found that shit out. The dude is not a pushover. He world class.
Yeah. And we saw it, like, Liam showed his class, man, because he, like, Fowler against a prime Fitzy, and Fitzy was unbeaten and was making a lot of noise. That was life and death. Fitzy got a late knockdown. You know what I mean? And, like, Liam destroyed Anthony Fowler.
Anthony hurt.
I picked Fowler to win. I mean, I said, yo, he's got shade, he's got youth, and this and that. Yo, he got battered.
Listen. Anthony actually hurt Liam. Liam weathered the shot. Like, he didn't, like, yeah, I'm hurt. I ain't going down. I'm still here. And he turned the whole shit around. I'm like, yo, I fucks with him. And what I feel makes a lot of sense. Listen, bro, you're not going to get Tony Harrison to come on a plane and fight you. Let's be real. None of them guys over there is going to fight you. But my man Liam, he'll fight you. He'll fight you. He don't give a shit. He'll fight you. And he's a former champion. That's who you need to be fighting. Former champion.
Why Tim Tszyu come to the Echo? He'll fill out the Echo. He should come to the Echo, man.
I tell you something, B. Now he bought the fight, and I think this is good experience for him. And I'm very curious about this fight. It's next month. It's Takeshi Inui. He's a mid-range to inside guy. He likes to crowd you. He throws a lot of punches. He's physically strong. This is the fight. Like, yeah, these is the right fights. Because if you're gonna fight, if you are Castaño's mandatory, right? You his mandatory. The experience that you need is to be in there with a strong volume puncher, because that's what he is. If you in the ring with him, he's not gonna stop coming after you. So you need that Takeshi Inui experience. You need that. This ain't Dennis Hogan, bro. This ain't Dennis Hogan. Trying to tell you.
I don't know how good that guy is. He's fighting.
He went 12 rounds. He went 12 rounds with Jaime Munguia and had Jaime looking very motherfucking human.
See, those Japanese, they take a good shot. They normally take a good shot, don't they?
Listen, it's on the zone. It's on the zone. Takeshi Inui versus Jaime Munguia. And the dude, like, yo, he takes a good punch, gives a good punch. He's busy, he's young, and he's strong, and he's not on a losing streak.
The Japanese fighters normally have good durability and endurance. The skills sometimes lack. I'm not saying Inui, the smaller Inui, but most of them normally are a bit crude. But endurance and taking shots, they normally hang in there.
This guy's a tough guy, and you know, I like Tim. I hope he could become the face of boxing for Australia. I hope that. But to keep it real, look, Jeff sounded after the fight, after the Jeff Horn fight, when they gave Jeff Horn the mic, the dude sounded like he had laryngitis. Like, yo, you came in here sick? No wonder you look so pale and fucked up like that, right? Dennis Hogan, he was coming off the knockout loss to Charlo at middleweight. So I'm like, look, Tim looks good. I'm not saying he don't, but there's no angle in here. Takeshi is a tough guy. That's what he is. He's young. He's in his prime. He's in the winner's bracket, and he'll give you hell. So we really gonna see how that power looks like against somebody that could take power shots, because he took Munguia's power shots, and he didn't stop coming at the Munguia.
Yeah, I could only see one ranking in here for Takeshi, and that's 15 on the IBF. I don't see a rank. He ain't ranked like that, is he?
Nah.
Oh, he's got a number 7 with the WBO. Number 7 with the WBO. So okay.
After this Inui fight, there's not going to be nothing standing in the way of the WBO ordering that fight between Zoo, or the winner of this fight, I should say, and Brian Castaño. And I made a video about it that, like, yo, dog, if Tim don't want to take a deal, let's say the WBO orders the fight, and let's say that Tim don't like the money that they offer him for the fight, and it goes through a purse bid, right? Brian, you got to get on a plane, bro.
Well, Brian said for, like, what was it, 10 million? It swim there, I think, but he ain't getting no 10 million.
He ain't getting 10. He's not gonna get 10. He might get 2 or 3 or something, but you're not gonna get 10, bro. And the shit is, you got to think about it. The PBC didn't bid on Porter versus Crawford. So if Porter don't mean that much to the PBC, what the fuck does Brian Castaño mean to the PBC?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They let the fucking Casemiro fight go to Pro Bellum.
But if I was Brian Castaño, I'd be very wary of going over to Australia with that WBO script. I'd be very wary, because if it goes, I don't care. They're gonna try and rob. They'll rob that Argentinian, man. They'll rob it.
Don't drink the water, bro. Don't shit in the water, but don't drink it.
Yeah. If you thought the Jamel decision was bad, well, yeah.
I'm just keeping it real. Don't drink the water.
Yeah. Come up dirty. Yeah.
Don't drink the water. Don't do shit. The only thing you do is you shit in the water. The rest of the time, I don't know, B. Go to the store and buy your water or something. I don't know. But he throws enough punches, right? Tim is a sharpshooter. It's a good style matchup because you got a volume puncher with a sharpshooter. Castaño's style could disrupt him to where it would be very difficult to rob him. Very difficult. Because this guy got a chin. He took a hard shot from Charlo. I think he could take a hard shot from Tim. I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like, Tim, how good he might even be. I'm not saying better than Charlo, but at this stage, Charlo looked like he was lacking a little something in that last fight, man.
I can't knock Charlo. I can't knock him because he won those. Aside from the Castano fight, he won in very good fashion. He landed a body shot, or really a jab, a stab to the body that Jason did not see, and that took the air right out of his fucking ass. That took whatever he had left, he took it out of him with that jab. So. Yeah. I'm not gonna knock Jermell behind one performance. It's not like with his brother. With his brother, you've been looking like doodle. You look like doodle with Korobov. You look like doodle with Adams. You look like doodle again with Montiel.
Yeah. In all fairness, yeah.
Jermell, right before that fight, he stopped the dude with a jab to the body. And really it was because he was beating him up in the fight too. The shots he was landing, because I don't think Jason take a good punch. That's the other thing. Yeah. Jason don't take a good punch, B.
Banana don't handle power. It doesn't handle power, man.
He don't. He big and strong and all of that, but he don't take a good punch. Yeah. Up until the Castano fight, Jermell was looking all right. So I ain't going shit on him off of one fight. Now with Jamal, bro, you've been looking like doodle for 2 years, bro. Two going on 3 years. It ain't no motherfucking happenstance. The only dude you knocked out was a junior middleweight in recent memory. And that was Dennis fucking Hogan. Fuck out of here, B.
Yeah, he needs to step up, man. He needs to step up. What do you think of Shakur?
I think he looked good, and I think he's gonna get ducked.
Yeah, he's gonna get ducked. But I still gotta keep it in some perspective, man. Like the Jamel doesn't handle pressure at all. He just doesn't do pressure.
Well.
He needs to be front running in all of his fights. He needs to be front running.
It's that look, Shakur, that situation, and we talked about it the week of the fight and before the fight. That the speed, shout out to Ronnie, because Ronnie called it the best. I see Ronnie in the comments. Ronnie called it the best, and we talked about it. That it's not as hard to fight the edge as it appears, because what you have to ask yourself is, in a battle with the jabs, who do you think is going to land their jab? I felt Shakur. Why? Because of the speed. The speed is going to be hard to time. And if he can land a jab and bring over a right fast enough, bro, you ain't going to get the chance to counter. You're not going to get the chance to throw. It's not that you're a bad fighter, but this fucking kid is fast as shit.
Yeah, he's very quick, man. He is very quick, man. Very, very quick.
There's no advantages. He's a southpaw. You're a southpaw, but he's a younger, fresher, faster southpaw. So there's no advantages, all right? He's gonna get off his shots. Can he land a jab to the body and then get out? Hell yeah, because he did. We was talking about all of that shit right here the week of the fight.
It's like to win 7-5 or something, maybe 7-5, 8-4 or something like that. That performance there, I thought he'd win. I didn't see him losing, but
that was look. Some people had it a shutout. I think Andre Ward had it a shutout.
I gave Herring the 5th.
I gave him the 5th too, and I felt that he might have. I felt like he might have picked up the 2nd. People obviously giving me shit on Twitter, but I gave him the 5th and the 2nd. But the rest of that's all Shakur, bro. That was all Shakur.
Man, you know something today? I'm thinking like Mary McGee is a giant woman. How did she get? And I think Chantel said nice heels. She was wearing heels.
Yeah, I told you she's not a big woman. She was wearing heels.
Oh,
yeah, bro. Yeah, but like, look, and I don't want to do my breakdown just yet, but I'm gonna tell you this: what Mary has is sneaky power. If she can catch you in the exchange mid-range, she can hurt Chantel, and she can hurt Chantel. The problem is your hooks are wide. When y'all trading, Chantel will land her hook before Mary because Mary's hooks are wide. There's a lot of space in between her arm. Like, it's a lot of space. It'll be easy for Chantel to put a straight shot in there. And Chantel pick her punches really good, and she don't abandon the body. That's the other thing. That she's more of a body puncher than Mary is. She's not just going to headhunt. She's going to go for the body, too, if you leave it open for her to take it. So you got to give Chantel the edge.
Who trained Chantel? Jamie Moore.
Jamie Moore now.
Yeah, he's done a good job with her. Done a pretty good job. So who you? You still got your predictions. I'll wait until you upload.
Yeah. Because I gotta do it tomorrow. I've been all wrapped up with this Shield shit, and I really wanted to do that yesterday, but I got all wrapped up with this shit. So I'm gonna do it probably either tonight or tomorrow and upload it. But that's what like what Mary has is Mary is a much stronger puncher than people. I seen her beat the shit out of girls that could take a punch. They shit is being able to take a punch, and I seen Mary stop them broads. Mary is a strong puncher. I believe she's up for it. That's the other thing, the psychological factor. That Mary is not no girl that just came up. Mary is a woman that been around for years, and she done been through it. And she ain't coming to fucking England and UK to lay down. She here to fight. So that's what we gonna get. We gonna get a fight.
I see Callie got a ticket, man. Is she gonna do some punditry?
I think she is.
Yeah,
I gotta get Kaylee back on the show because I love talking boxing with her. We talking about Chocolate Tito the last time she was here. Like, you see, Kaylee is a fan of boxing. She's not just a boxer. She's a fan of boxing.
Yeah, she's a fan. Like who's like so? Okay, you've got Mary McGee, you've got Melissa Odessa and Hamadouche. Are they the hardest hitting female boxers?
Nah, I would say based on what I've seen, and I'm not it's not hyperbole. Savannah's one of the hardest punches I've seen because I've never seen Hannah Rankin take that kind of punishment. And I've been watching Hannah Rankin for years, man. All right. I've never seen her take that kind of punishment. I've never seen Maria Lindbergh. I understand that she was a short notice opponent. That doesn't change that when she got hit, it looked bad. Like I never seen her get hit and beat the fuck up. And she fought Christina Hammer. Yeah, she did fight Christina Hammer. I never seen her get beat the fuck up like that. Savannah's in there. Amanda's in there. Maiva Hamadouche is in there. I would put Yuli Hang Luna of Mexico. If you don't believe me, just look. You don't have to watch every fight she ever had. Watch one fight. Luna versus Juarez. She rearranged the woman's face in a round. She landed an uppercut. This woman's nose was split. Blood everywhere, B.
Yeah.
Girl could punch.
Yeah.
Who else? It's a few that they hit hard. Like there's a little Argentinian woman that goes by the name of Jessica Bop. She's pint-sized. But for her division, she's a strong. She just knocked out a chick that ain't never lost a fight. She just knocked a chick 16-0 last week. She knocked out overhand right. That's her money punch. So that goes back to the conversation that we was having. I believe it was a few days ago that there's plenty of knockouts going around, but when there's no marketing to push it and nobody sees it, well, you got to show the knockout. She landed. It was about 3 knockdowns in that fight. 3 knockdowns and it ended in a knockout. All right. So yeah, there's knockouts, man. There's girls out there that are messing another girl up. All right. You just got to show the fights.
Well, they've got their shot to headline that O2 Arena card, man. Like, I think they've done about 11,000, and it's about a 21,000 arena. It's not bad because Dylan pulled out, obviously. But they girls are gonna perform for Saturday, man. They gotta perform.
What Chantel has to do is realize it's on you now. You the headliner. Fight like it. Because you the headliner. Don't be safe. You the headliner, fight like it. Because that's what Katie did against Delphine. Even though they wasn't the headliner, they were the co-main to Joshua versus Ruiz. But you got this big stage, right? Big shit. Unification match. Champion versus act like it. You got to try to stop her. You have to try to stop her.
I like the tournament, man. I like the tournament. I mean, Callie's on the Matchroom card. What? She's on the Quigley. On the Quigley.
Quigley is going to be in Rhode Island, I think, man. Because they both from Rhode Island. Kaylee and Demetrius is from Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's in Rhode Island. I believe that's in November. Towards the end.
Manchester, man.
They moved it?
Oh, they moved. Oh, you're saying they moved it from Manchester to Philly?
No. I mean, look. When I heard about the fight, right? When I first heard about it, this was well over a week ago. Right. They said it was going to be in Demetrius's neck of the woods. That's Rhode Island, and she's from Rhode Island too. They from the same state.
No, where did I read it, man? I've got a fight schedule.
Let me go on BoxRec right now. Let me go on BoxRec right now because it'll say it on BoxRec where it's going to be at.
I've got a TalkSport fight schedule for. Oh no, you're right. It's in New Hampshire. What was I thinking?
Yeah. And that's where they from. That's where they both from. That's a hometown fight for him. That's a hometown fight for her. The girl she fighting, Kamara, Kaylee. The thing about Kaylee and Kamara is Kamara's fresher. She ain't been around as long. She don't got that many L's in the column. She coming off she just beat the shit out of Heather Hardy. She beat the shit out of her, right? But it's like Heather's not Kaylee. Kaylee's naturally bigger. Kaylee been in there with bigger girls. Jessica's not a big puncher. Kaylee got to get aggressive with her and show her that they're like, yo, I'm bigger than you, yo. I'll fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck you up in here, B. That's what she got to show her. They're like, yo, you beat the shit out of goddamn featherweight that moved up. I ain't no motherfucking featherweight. I had to cut off a thigh to make featherweight. That's what she got. I'm bigger than that, B. I'll beat the shit out of you in here.
I feel that. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, on that, I'm gonna go eat lunch. Beats, always a pleasure.
No doubt.